Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to push yourself to put yourself in a lot of different creative scenarios to help prepare you on the back end for specifically photography. I remember when I was really little, I was homeschooled, I was 11 years old, and I started swing dancing. And dancing is something that I absolutely love to do, but when I was younger, I went to these swing dances, and I remember sitting there wondering why no boys would ask me to dance, why no guys would ask me to dance, and there was this defining moment for me where I thought, you know what, I don't care, why don't I start asking people to dance? And as 11 years old, I started putting myself in situations that were really awkward for me, and what I wanted myself to do was to get past things that I felt like were limitations, and I knew that at 11 years old. So I actually started college when I was 14, and I remember walking in the first day of school. I was homeschooled, so I'd never been to school before. First day of art school, and I sat down, and I turned to the person next to me, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Julie." And I was completely ridiculous and completely bubbly, but I'm actually still friends with that particular person to this day. So what I've learned from that in the creative industry, I brought that into my portrait photography. When I started 5 years ago, I was a family portrait photographer, and I just started shooting as many different families as I could. I would ask friends if I could shoot their kids, and what I didn't realize at the time was that was absolutely so beneficial for me to learn how to shoot weddings, because I was put in a lot of different scenarios that I had to think creatively. I had to be spontaneous, I had to think on my feet. When you're shooting kids, you never know what's going to happen. You never know if they're going to be fussy. You never know if they're going to be, smiley or happy. So you have to creatively think on your feet. And I remember there was a lot of scenarios where I had this creative vision where I was like, oh, I want this kid over here with this tree and playing with this. And they absolutely had a different idea. So I had to learn how to think really quickly and go with the flow. So it wasn't until I started shooting weddings about 2.5 years ago that I really realized how much of a benefit that was. So I would definitely encourage you to shoot as many different things as possible and try and put yourself in as many different creative scenarios as possible to prepare yourself on the back end for the day of the wedding. There are some times where the weather isn't going to allow you to do the creativity that you would like to do, or the location may not be what exactly that you would like it to be at the wedding. So by preparing yourself creatively on the back end, it allows you to think more freely on the front end of shooting at a wedding. So there you have it. Another thing I would definitely recommend, just to help you break out of your shell, is to do something different and spontaneous that you wouldn't normally do. And I try and do this even in my day-to-day life, even with my friends. I still go up and ask guys to dance all the time, and I totally don't even have a problem with that anymore. So there's very, very, very few situations where I feel awkward or I feel out of sorts, because I have prepared myself and I push myself, and I don't care if I look ridiculous, and I don't care if I look silly, because it's totally me. I do that sometimes with my writing as well. I really love to write. I really love to blog. And there have been times where I'm sitting at my computer and I have this vision of what I want to write. And I never want to be held back by, oh my gosh, what are people going to think? Or, how am I going to be perceived? Because I really, really, really just want to live and breathe authentically online, and creativity through my writing and through my images as well. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to push yourself a little bit. Maybe go up to someone today that is just walking on the street or at the store and say, hey, listen, you have a cool energy, or you're really unique, or I love the way that you dress, let's do a photo shoot. Just to put yourself out there and push yourself a little bit more. Before every single photo shoot, I always think in my mind, I actually just have a moment where I have with God, where I'm like, God, I want you to push me. I want to see things creatively in a way that I've never seen before. I want to push myself creatively, and I try and break out of that box. So if you can do that in your everyday life and your everyday creativity, even for photography projects on your own, it will definitely help you moving forward for shooting something like a wedding, where there's a lot of emotion involved in one day. So rock on. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon.